So the next key to understanding your camera is getting the proper exposure. And this is done with 3 fundamental ways with every camera out. This is the ISO, the shutter speed, and the aperture, okay? So the ISO is essentially boosting the camera's sensitivity to light. The more you boost the ISO, however, the more digital noise that your image gets. You obviously can see in this example, there was a high ISO used when I shot this. The other thing is that it was also shot at 240 frames a second, and generally when you're shooting at a higher frame rate, you can see more of that noise, especially in the dark, shadowy areas of the frame. So you can kind of think of the ISO essentially as if you have sound coming into a recorder, okay? The more you boost that sound, the more you boost that input, it's gonna eventually start redlining and it's gonna start distorting, because the initial input of sound is at a certain level and you keep boosting it up to get it louder and louder, it's gonna eventually start degrading the original data that was coming into the recorder. The ISO is the same exact way. You're telling the sensor, hey, there's this much light coming into the camera and I wanna boost it so the frame or the image is brighter. The problem is it develops this digital noise, and the way to get around that is to use the ISO is more of a buffer, a last kind of step. Once you set your proper shutter speed, your aperture, and your lighting, you use the ISO to boost when needed. So overall, the cleaner and smoother the image is, the more cinematic it's gonna look. So keeping your ISO as low as possible in all situations.